We're at Sun and Fun, and we're going to talk a little bit about Paradise City in particular now. This is not about airplanes right now. This is about allowing the airplanes to do what everybody wants to do here and what all the visitors want them to do here. I'm Dan Johnson. I'm talking to Gary Friedel. Gary has taken over a difficult job from one of our good friends, Dave Piper, who passed away, unfortunately. May he rest in peace, but we're glad, Gary, you have been in this game for quite a while here. You've worked with Dave, you've worked with all the volunteers. Now you're the man. It says right there, it says so right there. It says chairman of the Light Plane Paradise City area. So great. I'm glad you stepped up to the plate. Gary, tell me a little bit how it's going here, and then we want to talk about the volunteers and the areas that you manage out here at Paradise City. But first, give me kind of an overview of what's been going on in Paradise City.
Well, with Dave's passing, we only had a month to put this together. Okay, wow. And so all of the directors that I have that were all trained by Dave and everything else, we all rallied together. Everybody has stepped up and made, instead of 100% effort, they're all into 125, 150% effort to get everything together that we needed. And we didn't know every single detail of everything, but we handled everything the best that we could. I've got the best crew of directors anywhere at Sun and Fun. I probably shouldn't say that. But
you got a good
I got a great crew of directors that all I have to do is tell them this is what I need to accomplish, and I don't have to hold their hands. It's great. They're all wonderful people, and I did learn from Dave that the management style that's needed here, because there's so many different facets to Paradise City that have to be balanced, is that surround yourself with good people, let them do their job, and that's what I've learned. And of course there's going to be logistical problems, because everything you see here at Paradise City is nothing but a field for 355 days.
Right.
Okay, and for 10 days this becomes what it is. So putting it all together, and then we started out with a little weather event, which that of course dampened things for a day. Everybody jumped in, we got it all done, put it back together, made it look good real quick. All the vendors, all the volunteers, everybody kicked in and helped everybody, not just themselves, and it was very cohesive, and it was wonderful to see everybody jump in like that.
I kind of liken this area to an air show within an air show.
Oh, yeah.
There's the greater Sun and Fun back there behind the camera, and there's a lot going on over there too, and a lot of volunteers there as well. For me, this is the charming end of the show, not to take anything away from the other side, but it's a different kind of animal, and yet it's its own animal. It kind of beats and throbs down here just like it's a separate function within the show.
We're an annex to the city.
That's right. And so how many volunteers assist you down here in Paradise City?
Paradise City has, I believe, 130 volunteers this year.
So think about that. That's 130 thank yous that need to go out to all of your people and their spouses who put up with them hustling away here all week, and many other people as well. Plus the vendors that, as you said, are cooperating and working with the program.
Sure.
You know, I have to say, much as I miss Dave, I can't really tell he's gone, and that's a good credit to you and your staff.
The way things that have gone with the logistical problems that always happen, because this is a field and then it becomes something, there's always logistical problems, and solving all those problems one at a time has been rather easy. And my wife told me the other day, she said, just look up and say thank you.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to look at it.
And so I've been learning under Dave I was the air boss for 8 years, and working my way into this, and then the 1 year that he couldn't be here, I stepped in and took his place.
So you got a little test drive, huh?
Yeah, and in actuality that year, that's actually kind of funny with a story, because I got a piece of PVC pipe and some orange ground paint, and I painted it all orange, and when he came to visit on Sunday, I handed it to him, and he said, "What's this?" I said, "It's your baton, you can have it back." And so that worked out pretty good, but it is what it is. I mean, dealing with the flight line and all the issues that I had, I don't see that my job is really any different. It's just a different set of problems and a different set of things to make happen. But my directors here are all awesome people, and we're solution oriented. We don't want to fix it just to get through the week. We want to fix it so next year we don't have to deal with it again. And they're great people, and all of our our directors and all of our staff, the key personnel on the runway, all the people in headquarters. There's so many different things. I mean, my directors, I have a director of security, I have a director of headquarters, I have a director for commentating, I have a director for campground to manage everybody before the event. I mean, we come here on Thursday to try and do this. I have a site person.
The show opens on Tuesday, so that's almost a week ahead of time. You're all out here doing it.
Actually,
and there are people that are here weeks and months before that, maybe not right here because it's still a field,
right,
but doing some of the prep and getting things ready. Is that not true?
Right. Our early birds park in the early bird campground, and they come here in January, and they're doing all the small things that have to happen.
So literally months ahead of time.
Yes.
And you couldn't even do this without that small army of volunteers, could you? And none of you get paid to do this. This is a volunteer deal. So again, thanks so sincerely.
Plus we all drive here and meet like 3 times from all over this day and everything to meet to try and get all the problems or all the issues solved so that they don't become problems when we get here.
And to dovetail with the other side too. So
the show is less work than the prep.
The sun comes up 6 or 7 in the morning, whatever time that is, and people start to come out here. Some volunteers already here, no doubt. How does the day in the life of one of those Air Ops volunteers go?
Well, they come out in the morning. The actual prep for the day starts in the evening last night, making sure all the equipment is out there that we have for air operations. And I mean, we have all the cones, all the stuff that we use on the runway, the tower, everything. It actually starts last night, getting it ready for the morning, because when they come out in the morning, we have power parachutes.
It's going to happen right away, isn't it?
First thing in the morning.
When do they start flying, Gary?
Well, 7:30 is
7:30 in the morning. Your day is off and running.
Right, but we start briefings at 6:45 a.m.
6:45 in the morning.
6:45 in the morning, because they want to give them time to get ready to fly at 7:30. And then we have, that's power parachutes and paragliders. Then we have our general flying briefings at 8, 9, and 4, and that's Michael Van Hertog does those. And those are all done, plus the briefings for the showcase, where we simultaneously fly 2 patterns at the same, okay, and manage that with somebody on the other side. We have 2 people that go over there, a commentator and someone with an aircraft radio, and then it's managed over here, and they coordinate from the runway. Our people are set all along the runway. Should we ever have any sort of an incident, be it minor or major, everybody is well trained. They all have bands that allow us to be in the area when the ERT gets here to manage them, because if we have an incident that's runway oriented, we have to actually protect the emergency response team, because we don't work from this runway. We have NORDO aircraft, with no radio aircraft, so we have to do that from hand signals. So we have to protect the actual emergency crew, so we have to circle them and make sure that airplanes are waved off and gone out of the way. So there's a lot there. But then we have Don Lohmeyer, my director of air operations. He's at the helm. We have a person at the point who launches aircraft. We have somebody making sure that they have their credentials, the correct armband, and make sure that they went to their briefing every day. No briefing, no fly. And people all along the runway. Now we have another point man who sits at the cutout, the big cutout area, because a few years ago we took on rotorcraft and light helicopters, and so we've made that a parking area for them. So we actually had to manage 2 points to stop the point from launching aircrafts at one end of the runway, to allow the helicopter to hover out and go in transition into forward flight.
Sounds like a juggler with a lot of balls in the air.
A lot of people that come over,
and I don't see many of them
oh my God,
drop,
this is dangerous. And then they hang out here for an hour and they're going, man, you guys manage that so well. And but when you look at it, the first initial look, you're going,
there's no way, right?
And
yet there is a way.
It's very finely
and you found the handle for it.
It's very finely tuned, yeah.
Well, we appreciate all the great information here, all the details that you deal with. I have to say a word about the airplane that we're standing in front of, because folks might go, gee, what's wrong with that airplane? It looks kind of old. Well, it is. This is the original CGS Hawk. Came out of the museum up in the attic, and there's going to be a whole restoration job on this airplane. But here's one of the original airplanes that flew here, and there's still a crowd out here doing it today. Seems like people are really happy with what's going on. I'm hearing a lot of good things about airplanes selling. That's always good. That's what powers it. And everywhere I look over the camera shoulder there's people everywhere having a good time out here. Thank you so much for what you do, Gary, and every one of those 130 people that assist you, and many more over on the other side as well. Sun and Fun, all these big air shows wouldn't work without volunteers, and they need somebody at the head of the pack. So thanks for doing it, Gary.
All right, thank you.
Well, you know, many of us have been coming here for a long time. I think I missed the first 2 Sun and Funs, and that's it. But I see some of the same people volunteering here every year, so I guess 35 times thank you to those folks or more. But, you know, eventually people have other things in their life. They just get old or whatever, and they got to move on. How do you get new people into the game to help feed the supply of all those volunteers you need, Gary?
Well, volunteerism is the heart of Sun and Fun to begin with. There's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer. And so bringing volunteers in, by having somebody come here and they say they want to be more of a part of it, say, well, why don't you be a volunteer? And it just gets created, and as soon as they get to do things and see things and get a little closer to the action, it's infectious. At our opening dinner that we have for our volunteers, I gave away a number of 25-year pins.
Is that right?
Yeah, 15. Actually, I received my 15-year pin. This is my 16th year, so I got a 15-year pin. But 25-year pins, 20-year pins, 15-year pins, 10, and a multitude of 5. When giving away the multitude of 5s is telling me that's the new people that are coming, that are going to be 25s someday, and hopefully I'm around to give them their 25s.
Now, how about young people that say, hey, you know, I see what's going on, I'm charged up about aviation, but I don't know how to do things?
Youth in aviation is very, very important to us in Paradise City, and the whole light planes area in every facet of aircraft, the manufacturers, the volunteers, everybody. We have the Aviation Explorers, and they come here and volunteer, and they do a lot of work for us. We just tell them to go do something, they just make it happen. We give them resources, and they do the bulwark and all that kind of stuff, and then they get out on the flight line and they start to learn. Every year they get to learn a little bit more about different things.
Sure.
We've taken people from the school that's right from the flight school right here on the grounds at Sun and Fun, and we've had volunteers from there every single day this week, and we've given them a yellow hat, which means it's their first year volunteer. They don't really have to have responsibilities, that they're there to soak up and learn, and we work with them. And when they come back next year, and they begged me to come back, and I said, you don't have to beg me, you're welcome. And they came here, and then they'll change over to a red volunteer, and they'll start to given some more responsibilities, and it really excites them. I love to see their energy every year. They're so excited to come out here. And we're also looking at Royal Air Force cadets that we're going to have a couple of them work with us next year, and so we're integrating a lot of that into us, because youth in aviation is how this will stay alive forever, and where the roots come from.
Right.
And we don't just tell them what they got to do to be at Sun and Fun. We try to explain to them where aviation comes from, and where and seeing stuff like this, and understanding that this is not just an old raggedy airplane. This is the reason why.
It's a piece of history here.
That's right, and it is. And so, but the youth portion of this is very near and dear to all of our volunteers, because everybody knows that's what it's all about.
Sure.
That's
so
what it's all about.
Central Florida Aviation Academy, I believe, is the name of the high school right here on the grounds. It's just back over the camera's shoulder there, and that's where they're training people. They're giving them flight training. They're going to use this field, at least in the future, I think all year long is the plan. So Paradise City is kind of a birthplace for a lot of what is going to be the aviation of the future. Of course, there's other places around the country, thank goodness, but this is a very important one, and guys like yourself and all your team here are helping to bring those people along, and we welcome those young folks. So sign up here.
When these kids come out here and stuff like that, they're getting a side of aviation that is not part of what they're learning over there, and so when they actually transition into being a pilot at whatever level they're going to seek in their lives, they're going to understand a lot more about why things happen, and I think it'll give them a better perspective and make them a better pilot.
Absolutely, it will.
So that's a very strong force that we like to promote. Whenever we see the kids, we do whatever we can with them.
That's great.